Here we go. Hello, everybody. I'm Sudha Jamthe, and here we are at Sudha Live, Friday evening to wrap up a week and to look at amazing opportunities in AI space. Here we go. So today, the way I decided that I'm going to tell you how it is organized. So it's Friday evening here and already Saturday morning in Malaysia and Vietnam and China and Singapore. So you can decide whether this is the best use of your time for the next 45 minutes. So now I'm going to do my best to make it worth your time. So the way we are organizing today is I have some amazing, inspiring women who I want to congratulate. And you will see when there are women actually being called out on something that they've done, they end up congratulating their peers who are also in the list or their mentors. And there's always opportunities that comes with it. So I thought this was a great way to start a program. So I have that. Following that, we are going to have a topic on how do you bring AI product management to your company? What does it take? And this is not going to be general talk because we have somebody who actually has hot jobs in that area looking to hire product managers of all levels. So we'll do that as our second segment. And then I go back to my favorite topic on autonomous vehicles and mobility data. And we'll talk about a little bit about Open Mobility Foundation and mobility data services. But that topic is going to be more focused on, can we use mobility data for urban mobility to make it equitable? And then I have opportunities. Everything we are doing here, it is not general news and analysis. I'm a technology futurist. I have tons of opinions, but this is not just about my opinion. I'm here in the Sudha Live sessions, and we are, I believe, on our episode 19. So thank you, everybody who's been, increasingly joining and telling your friends and, scaling this to get to a decent quorum so I can talk to you instead of just talk to myself on the screen. So that is the third piece. And then I think we'll run out of time by then. If time permits, I have another segment on AI ethics and building human-centered interface. We may not have a time for discussion, but I definitely will list and share the opportunities in that space that I have listed for you. So the opportunities could be a fellowship, a job, or events. So let's see where we go. Okay. So the first thing, as I said, congratulations are in order. And thank you for my students who are going to be joining here live. Otherwise, you can chat away wherever you are. This is streamed on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on YouTube. So wherever you are, you can chat your questions, and I will make sure that I answer your questions there. Okay. So let me share my screen. So I want to share my screen so that when I'm talking about something, you can see the link and then you can go back to it. And I've been hearing from people wanting me to share the links and put it in a newsletter or an email and follow up. So I'll try and do that eventually. I'm not promising that yet. It's a Friday evening for me, so I might leave after this. So the first person I'm excited to congratulate is Tasundra Brown Duckett. She is the president and CEO of TIAA, and it was brought to me because of an amazing person, Rachel Faram, who I follow and adore. She deliberately lives her life in her career in everything she does. And she hosted Girls Who Code when she was the chief marketing officer of eBay. And I got an opportunity to get involved. And so Rachel Faram has done an interview of Tasundra Brown Duckett. This is a fantastic one. I would highly recommend you go watch that. And so Tasundra Brown Duckett was nominated and won as a 2021 Trailblazer in the Gender and Diversity Award and by the Women Business Collaborative. And she has quite a resume, and as a president and CEO of TIAA, it's no joke, but this was an extra honor. So that is one. And who do I have next? there are more and more women who are getting involved in cybersecurity. It's a hot topic. And so I found there is a Women Cyber Jitsu Awards that that's the 8th annual award. This is the 8th year they're doing this, and they have a celebration on October 28th. Here are the details here. Womencyberjitsu.org. And I want to congratulate Dr. Fazio Idris Bro. And I came to find out from following her on Twitter. Thank you so much. And as I said at the start, when I start looking at women who have won something, they are very, supportive of each other, and you see them congratulating each other and also sharing opportunities. So I found another opportunity from there. So here are amazing trailblazer women in cybersecurity. And then there is an opportunity for high school girls to join this. It's called Girl Security, is on LinkedIn. Again, I don't have any affiliation to any of them. I'm just looking for opportunities to share that would, enhance my students and your AI learning curve here. So the AI Security Spring 2020 National Security Fellowship application is open, and this is where you go, girlsecurity.org, and fellows that application. And it gives all the details. And I believe the fellowship will run in Feb of 2022. And it's a 3 to 5 hours expectation. This is for high school girls, and they'll get $1,000 stipend. So you get a chance. The applications are due by 12th November, midnight of 12th November in East Coast time zone in US. So here's an opportunity to go make an impact and make sure that we have cybersecurity in place at a national level. And this week specifically, we had a speaker at Weekly Wednesday. So Weekly Wednesday is where my students come together, past and present students come together. We have a speaker series. We try to bring unique topics and get into the gap between the business and depths of technology, get a sense of reality of what's happening in industry. We had Armando Lucrecio come in, and he works at Amazon. He was my student at the IoT business course at Stanford many years back, but he's like a guru in IoT space. He doesn't like the word IoT. He was saying it should be connected products, but he was talking about cybersecurity. He was talking about the communication layer. How do you build that to build connected products? What are the challenges to make security happen? And that recording should be available at our YouTube. And this time what I have done is, since I've got recently many of my past students connecting back and coming, and some of them are coming in as speakers because they have amazing stories and things they're doing out in industry to change the world. So in my YouTube channel, I created a whole playlist called Students Returning as Speakers. So you've already seen, let me not go back to all of them because we won't have time. So we had Vera Serdukova talk about machine learning at the edge. We have Aisha Tugudape. We have Mamta Narayan talk of AI product manager. Carolina Chachilska talk about autonomous vehicles and micromobility ecosystem. I got Trident from NVIDIA on AV data. I think he specifically spoke about how to build AV and focus on lane detection. It's an amazing topic. And Dr. Charles Icahn. So this is where we would have the recording of Armando Lucrecio go in there. But to make life easy, another of my students, Henry Mulak, who works at NBC, has been gracious to find time to write a blog post every week of what happens in Weekly Wednesday, what is the learning from there. This is Christine Kalnina from last week, and she's a student of mine from Barcelona Technology School. She spoke about how she built out as a UX researcher. She moved to the space of AI using no-code AI and has built a startup in the GPT-3 space. And so we have that here, and Henry's blog post should go up tonight with Armando Lucrecio's blog post with the summary and also the recording. So And for those of you who are new to all this, if you see me saying a lot of different words and you're like, what is she talking about? What is Weekly Wednesday? And what are all these people? Where are they meeting? What's going on? If you go to businessschoolofai.com, most everything is linked here. And of course, I love singing the praise of my students. So you can see a bunch of my students and their all that. And then if you click here on Weekly Ved, that is where you can go sign up for Weekly Wednesday and come join. Even if you're not my current student, if you're interested in AI, AV, changing the world and going into the details of making things happen in the tech world or bringing tech to ethically into your world, you're welcome. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about other things in here, but you're welcome to explore. But go look at Weekly Ved. That is a starting point. And hopefully that would give you inspiration to come join us. And if you join Weekly Wednesday, then you will get access to all the past recordings. So other than what we are putting out on YouTube, you'll get access to all the recording. So that's my promise to you. And it is hosted by the amazing Yashashwini from Bangalore, hosts our Weekly Wednesday. She's a student of mine from the AI ethics class and she works on responsible AI. She's a data scientist and embedded engineer. Okay, so that is for the congratulations and opportunities. And so now we are going to go to an exciting segment that we have today. We've been sharing, I've been saying, here are these jobs, here are these events. I went to this event, this is what I learned. And I've just been throwing a lot of opportunities. And I realized I tried to compile them to share the links. And I realized it was too much. And so I decided to invite somebody to join us to talk to us about AI product management and what does it take to bring AI product management to a large company, and then where are the jobs? So Puja Agarwal, welcome. Thanks for finding time on a Friday evening to join us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? I know I worked with you in the past and you're an amazing person, but I want you to tell me a little bit about your background and where you are.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sudha. And thank you everyone here. Hello. I think we are in different time zones today, so it's so good to be here. So my name is Puja Agarwal, and I'm originally from India, but now I'm in US, San Francisco area for more than 20 years now. So in the late 90s, I did my MBA and started my career actually documenting consumer journeys for then upcoming background search company in LA, US. From that documentation, I started learning about consumer journeys and soon transitioned into the so-called product management area that we call today, right? That product management area at that time was not very developed, but yes, the journey and the consumer journey was very well recognized at that time as well. In the last 10 years, right, the companies that I have worked are, with PayPal, with eBay, and now I am with Levi's. During my time in the 10 years, I have learned a lot through these companies, right? Specifically with PayPal, though we focus on B2C here, but my experience there at PayPal was very much specific to B2B space.
Yeah.
With eBay, with eBay, I was able to strengthen my skills around risk, fraud, cart checkout. So that was an amazing experience as well. When I moved to Levi's, I think the biggest thing for me that attracted was all these years I had experience in e-com, but never got a retail experience. So with Levi's, I built the muscle for the retail as well. So all the things that I had applied and learned in the past with eBay, PayPal, Walmart, and all the companies, I was able to apply on retail side as well. So that is an exciting journey which I am on right now. The latest thing where I am building my muscle on is personalization. So,
okay, that is the AI piece. I was thinking,
yeah.
where is AI coming into all this? Yeah, okay. I think you're a fantastic product manager. I have worked with you, not directly on a project, but I've seen you in all your passion at eBay. So this is
Right.
okay. Tell me about personalization.
Thank, yeah, thank you so much, Sudha. So we are building a muscle at, personalization. Personalization is very new at Levi's. And
I
Right
know
now,
Levi as a
besides,
consumer. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it as a business and the org and where you are?
oh, yes, yes, absolutely. Levi's is no different than any other company, right? And if we compare that to eBay or PayPal, it is definitely no different than that. We work in a similar way as a company. We have to make sure that the digital experiences team is working through the same or building the experiences the way we build anywhere else as well. How does the consumer come on the site and discover your products? That's the product discovery phase of
Yep.
it, right? How do you go and then make the user's life easy or the consumer's life easy to help them decide a product, right? Where your PDP page, your filters, your reviews, your fit and size and other things that come into picture, right? And then again, the buy and manage piece of the consumer journey. How do you smoothen out the lower funnel with cart checkout and payments? But one thing that with Levi's that I learned and which is interesting is the post purchase journey of it. How in retail you take care of all these returns, exchanges, and omni experiences that go from online to offline and offline back to online. And when I mean offline, it means the store and the retail part of it. So personalization across all these journeys, right, is very, very important to us. Right now, as a team, we are focusing on the product discovery part of the personalization. So rather
Okay.
than going or targeting every single piece of the journey, we are kind of
Yep.
focusing in 2021 and 2022 on product discovery. And
Yep.
when I say product discovery, what it means is, SEO, search, browse, right? Filters, right? Any and every activity where the user is coming on the site, can we personalize your experience to take you or draw you towards a product details page, right? So that you can perform that add to cart action, right? So
Yeah.
this is where our team's focus is right now, and this is where we are building the muscle and also the group. So like I said, Levi's is
So
kind
you're
of
not
new in
thinking
this
about
area.
so you're not thinking about recommendation yet. We are thinking about
We
the actual personalization, which is the holy grail of we've been talking about this for 20 years. And I remember our eBay days. Yeah.
Right. So to answer your question, yes, because recommendations is a part of personalizations.
Yeah.
This is how we are saying. In again, in recommendations also buy similar products, right?
Yes.
Or to be able to compare products. All these things are
Yeah.
definitely, we are trying to build for it. To build that, I think we are trying to create the data science models right now. Right now,
Yeah.
everything what we have is based off, so that it's based on the post-purchase history.
Yeah.
But I think post-purchase history, I think we have to move everything towards intent base and try to find
Yeah.
out what's the next step. And this is where the power of the AI comes, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is where we want to get to, and that's
Yeah.
why we are trying to build up the team.
That is amazing. So this is all in the product experience, or you mentioned different channels from that the customers are coming, right? So
Absolutely.
so
Right
we
now, our focus is just site and app.
okay, because we have a lot of discussions we've had and some lessons. So I teach AI at Business School of AI, and I have a amazing set of students who learn from me from Stanford or from Barcelona Technology School come back, and then there's new people, and I also have a team of instructors, global instructors. So we focus on machine learning or deep learning, and we have AI ethics in all of this, right? So a separate inclusive AI courses, and we do like a live lab. So this we teach primarily product managers or business managers, so UX designers, not the coders, right? You can be a coder who wants to learn the business side, but we bring together a multidisciplinary team. So one of the things I'm seeing is propensity model. So you must have data already about your customers. You're not doing anything on the personalization side yet, and you have it on the recommendation side. So you must have data on the channels that performed, the channels that didn't perform, and the next best click of the customer. Or you can build propensity models on, hey, the customer has a higher propensity to go interact with this channel or to go into this category based on whatever factors, right? That is their defines the demographics, right? So you must have tons of data, right? So that seems very juicy place to get started. So how are you going about this? So you're going to focus on personalization in the buyer cycle, right? That's where the buyer experience is where you're going for, right? The pre-purchase cycle, and then get them fast to conversion so that, if they're browsing, maybe they need to be led to the right categories or right channels so that they can go complete the purchase.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are three underlying things that we are doing. So that right now, first is, I think we have all the data. Like you said, we have a lot of data. But the underlying problem that we have right now that we have to solve systematically is all this data sits into different systems, right?
Yeah.
So we are trying, I think one of the priorities for us next year as we are building our roadmap is to bring all this data together to create a 360 view for the customer.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one thing that's happening as a foundation, right? To stitch all this data across the globe, right? The second thing that we are trying to figure out is build versus buy decisions around, we are trying to create a platform in our architecture for near real-time data, right? So for that intent to actually kick in for personalization, right? And even for recommendations, I think that architectural foundation has to be built first, right? So that's the second focus for us, right? But at the same time, while we are thinking about near real time, we are still marching towards building those experiences that you just called out to push user towards the conversion and to show the best next click that they can.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about build versus buy. So one of the things that I have seen when companies get started, even if the rest of the company has AI, a department, if they're getting started with AI, right? So they say, okay, let us scope a pilot, let us get a vendor, and vendor in this case, a technology vendor who would have some API and some underlying model, and you start building on it and say, here's our scope, and then they do that, and then they do a pilot. And it's known officially that 85% of the pilots in industry fails in some form because the scoping is not done right, and it's a black box when a vendor comes and says yes, they can do it. So it's a couple iterations before a company gets that right. But the thing is, by doing that iteration, the company smartens up, so your next time you scope it with the next vendor, you're going to be better. And it also helps the vendor because you're feeding data to them, so their models are going to get smarter. So it's a win-win, but it's called that it is not a success because people want to move forward with whatever they're starting as pilot. So one of the things I teach when in my Stanford class where I teach the AI for product and business managers is this build versus buy is a very, very important for AI, right? For which technology API are we going to use? What is other comparable out there? How, and given that everything is a black box, how do I validate this is the right vendor? And in AI, you have something called confusion matrix. So you give it, so some vendor comes in and says, yes, we have a model, this will work. And now it will give you an output, right? It's going to make a prediction. Now you have to feed the right data to see whether it works for your customers so that it's inclusive for your customers, for all the different demographics you're going to serve. And it gives you the right recall and precision. And that's on the product manager, essentially, in the end, on making sure that the right product is brought. And then they have to figure out, what is the level of confidence that the product is ready to get out. It might be at 73% confidence or 99% confidence. Again, it's a black box, but they would know when they're testing this out. So those are decisions. A lot of things like that are in the hands of the product manager. So when something fails, they would say, hey, we did not have enough data. Because that is always there. You can always get more data. You can get all kinds of data. And so I like how you're thinking about getting your data engineering piece ready. Because one of the recent things I'm doing is I was teaching AI. I recently started teaching a data science. So it's everything I do is using no code, so that the whole idea is to focus on the process and get to the details and get a deliverable. And there are many no code AI platforms. Recently started a data science no code AI course saying understand data science in all its nitty-gritties, not at high level that you can do supervised and unsupervised learning. What does the brain of the algorithm do? You don't need to build it, but you need to have an intelligent conversation with your data scientist. And so the data engineering piece, getting your data ready so you can do feature engineering right, becomes an important thing. So I like that you're doing. So are you going to have jobs on data engineering, getting the data ready for it? And you said about having what's the ground truth? What's your single source of truth in terms of a data set that you can trust? Is that foundation ready, or is that something you're hiring for also?
We are hiring it for also, Sudha. So there are, so within the product team, I'm hiring directly, right? Then we have some jobs open up in the data science team.
Yeah.
Then we have some jobs open up as an architect or a developer, like a data scientist that you can apply for. And then we also have specialized job for AI open. So Levi's is in the process of building this whole team around AI. And I will be happy to talk to the candidates who would love to get into this area, or introduce them to the right people who they can talk to.
Okay. So the data engineering, you have separate roles. That's beautiful.
Yes.
And then recently we are going to through a lab exercise. That's one of my courses is, okay, now you have data. When you go try to learn how to build AI, it's usually canned data, right? It's like nicely done, ready for the AI to run a model. That's not how our data is going to be in industry. So you might have to do some feature reduction. You might have to do other things to get to that. So what we do is we work with a real business and a real business problem that they want to solve for, arrive at multiple use cases, and then kind of go through the process. So that's something that I do as a data science lab exercise. So I am super excited about the possibilities. So tell me about I know you don't have too much time, so I don't want to take too much of your time. So tell me about your specific AI product management jobs, because that's where bulk of my students are, and maybe I can connect them offline to have a conversation with you. Tell me what kind of specifics of AI product management. So there's people who are product managers, and then they're moving to AI, or there are people who are already working with AI in some form. What are you looking for?
Right. So right now our AI team, Sudha, just has engineers. They do not have product people there. So we need people who has product mindset, and can work with our AI engineers to define requirements based on what ultimately we want to influence the customer journey for.
Yeah. So this is the true CEO of the customer part. That's a dream.
Exactly.
Dream AI product manager job, to be the CEO of the customer. Yeah.
Right. So exactly this job at different levels, right? Even at the entry level, at a little bit senior level, we are open to have discussions right now. These positions are not out there, but I know we are in the process of opening up the positions.
Yeah. So what's the timing of this? If somebody is interested, can they come have a conversation? Are the directs going to be open in Q4, or is it for Q1?
So we are in the process of opening some of the positions right now in Q4. Right, and budget conversations are happening. Budget is kind of approved right now. It's just a matter of by when we can open that. But we are very hopeful that some of them will be open by Q4.
Okay.
But the conversations should not stop. I think the sooner we interact, the better it is. So I think the first point of contact will be me, Sudha, like a 15-minute intro meeting. And then for some of the positions, I may not be the right person, but I will be able to help guide that person to who to talk.
Yeah. And you're looking for somebody who's a product manager who understands AI, who can have that depth of AI to have a conversation with the data scientist, but brings the product management experience is your core focus, right?
That's exactly.
Okay. What about if somebody has not worked in product management? They worked in they understand AI end to end, and they've done some peripheral role, which is on the business side.
Right. So in that case, then if they are curious to learn product management, I'm happy to entertain that as well. But that will be at an entry level of product.
Yeah.
Because that's not sitting with the core function of AI.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds fantastic. And you have your data, and you have a strong data science team already in place. So it's good partnership in here. And in terms of your customer interaction, so this is, since it is site, it is all consumer, or is it B2B?
No, it is all consumer right now.
Okay.
This whole team is direct to consumer team.
Okay. And so you're looking for e-commerce, consumer, domain-wise, you would prefer e-commerce, retail, direct consumer backgrounds over somebody who comes from oil and gas or some B2B or something. Yeah.
Right. And anything e-commerce, from any industry is totally fine, Sudha, because they bring different perspective, which we may not have from the traditional industries, right?
Yeah.
So that we are open. The other fantastic thing is these positions are available in Shanghai, India, and anywhere in the US.
Okay.
Oh, and in Europe as well.
Oh, wow. Wow. And is this remote or you're all back at work, or what's the timing of that?
So we are encouraging people to come back to work, but with a hybrid model. Our team specifically is totally remote right now, and we don't expect people to come at least for 6 months for now. How things are going to unfold after 6 months, I'm not sure, but currently the positions are by and large remote.
Okay. Okay. And do you have it in Europe? Is it anywhere in Europe?
Our main headquarters is in Brussels, but most of the people that we hired recently in the last 1 year are in London. So
yeah, that's why I was asking. I was thinking of a student of mine who's in London who will be perfect for this. So I was just thinking, I don't know what's with London and the product managers. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is fantastic. So I'm happy to connect my students offline, and we have this weekly Wednesday where we have our gathering of our community coming together on a speaker series. So maybe we'll call you back there when you're ready with all your X. But meantime, I will go definitely tell them there. Can people connect with you on LinkedIn? Would that be all right?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, then I will safely share your LinkedIn. Dan has raised his hand. Dan, you have a question? You can speak up.
I've got a question. So
You want to introduce yourself in terms of background to Puja so that she knows context?
Okay, so I'm Dan. I have a PhD in marketing science. So I'm a consumer scientist. And so with regards to Levi's, like for example, denim, one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of the data or information you might get comes from the consumer use of the product. So for example, when consumers use a pair of jeans, they might destroy part of it, or they might put silver dust, or they might paint it a certain color. Is there like any opportunity like to bring those data to generate insights on how you might design your products differently going forward? Because most of the SKUs that I see in Levi stores are mostly, I guess we would say, unmodified, right? It's not modified in certain ways that maybe you might be able to catch a trend that the consumers are anticipating. Like, okay, the in trend right now is ripped denim or painted denim or denim with silver dust. So I'm just interested to like hear about your thoughts on this.
Right. So Dan, that's a fantastic question. A couple of things that Levi's recently started is, and this speaks along the side that we are starting to build data in this area. One is re-commerce, right? So we are encouraging secondhand denim. We are encouraging modified denim. We have also started selling it through Levi's site and multiple other channels as well. In fact, we are looking into our re-commerce strategy with the secondhand focus and modified product. And we are also collecting data around that. So it's pretty new for us, as new as 1 year old. Right? So we will start getting a lot of data beginning next year as we start working on these products. So that's one. Second thing is, we are encouraging user to customize Levi's jeans. Like, so we started customization through place digital orders, and it will directly take you to a store where you can actually talk to a tailor and get customization done. So the end-to-end process of this customization, we are collecting data around that area as well. So I think we are building upon it. We are very new to this journey, but I think a year from now, we should have sufficient data to give us some significant relevance. Does that answer your question, Dan?
Yes, it sounds like a very interesting endeavor.
Right. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Awesome, Puja. This is amazing. So thank you so much. I will be sure to announce it at our weekly Wednesday. And I can think of some students who would like to have just an exploratory conversation with you. And then we can hopefully come cheer for you. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
If you want,
so
you can
Bye-bye,
stay.
guys.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll see you online and back to catch up offline.
Thank you. I appreciate you calling me here. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So back to our session. This was amazing. I want feedback from all of you because I wanted to structure this opportunity series to show you events and jobs and whatnot, but I thought, we could go deeper, and this was amazing. So I'm going to finish up in the next 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I want to tell you about one thing in terms of urban development and mobility. So I have a class, I'm going back to this thing, to businessschoolofai.com. And here you go down and it says learn data science with no code AI. And this is the class. You can sign up, find details, go find the syllabus, go get like a free class that you can watch, do everything. So this is the way you can communicate with us or watch quietly if you're not ready to learn with us yet. But the thing I wanted to tell you is I did this whole session on data science foundation as a masterclass already, which is available on demand if people want to join now. And then the exciting piece is we are going to work with a real level 3 autonomous vehicle company to solve a real business problem. All our courses are live 6-hour courses. So it will be live 1 hour or 2 hour, and it'll spread over 4 weeks or something like that, 5 weeks. In this case, it's 4 weeks. So we'll work with a real company, real business problem, real data, and then I'll guide you through the exercise. We have mentors, we have data scientists as mentors also, and it's a mixed team. So, and you don't need any coding. The whole idea is we are going to teach you how to take the business problem, break it into use cases, problem statement, experience the machine learning life cycle. So that course is live. If somebody is interested, I am limiting the number of people and I'm very picky on who I'm taking into that. So if that's of interest, talk to me. So you can go to Business School of AI to do that. And if you're interested in this mobility topic and you're quite not there, right? The whole sidewalk vehicles, delivery bots, shared mobility vehicles like bikes and the like scooters, they all share data with the city in a standard called mobility data specification. I've spoken about it in the past, and that's an open data set from Open Mobility Foundation. So if you're interested in just learning that, I mean, there's a lots of use cases that's possible from there. So let me share that. There is an event from Open Mobility Foundation to talk about how you can use mobility data to advance equity. And what are they doing? What are the lessons learned? With amazing set of a nice mix of panelists. So we have somebody from Spin, who's a vehicle operator company. We have Jacob Sherman and Brian Nugent from Portland Bureau of Transportation. So you get the transportation perspective. You have City of Minneapolis and you have Populous. So you have multiple perspectives. This is what we would be doing in terms of the vehicle company plus the city, multiple stakeholders in the city, and their different agendas on what they are looking for. But so that'll give you a taste of what it is. Our class would be something like this while we're interacting with multiple stakeholders. But here is a free event if you're interested in learning about mobility data. This is on October 13th. And here is the link if you're watching this on video. And I would recommend you take a look at that if that is of interest to you. And this is the openmobilityfoundation.org, where you can look at the big picture, all the cities who are working on it. And in there, they have a link to multiple use cases. And you say, what is multiple use cases that is possible with open mobility? It talks about sidewalk management, or to understand, there are complaints from residents or infrastructure planning or there are potholes on the roads. There's law and managing permits and all kinds of things. Again, from different stakeholder perspective, there might be different use cases. Or are a vehicle company redlining a certain neighborhood, and the city has to take a look at that. So there's a lot of possibilities. I'm super excited because we get to work with a real level 3 autonomous vehicle company, and that project is getting started. So if that's interesting, I'm calling it no code AI data science for business users. So it's going to be misleading if you're thinking, hey, why is it not called an autonomous vehicle or something like that? Because the goal is, I'm going to teach you data science. I'm going to teach you a data science machine learning life cycle. At the end of it, you should be able to go anywhere and do it. Since my passion is this area, I'm going to use that data. I'm going to use that business case, and I'm going to connect you with level 3 provider who's going to work with us. So we get a sneak peek of the insights of a successful company working in this space too. Okay, so that is one. And then we have one other class. I'm going to go back to the Business School of AI because the other topic I promised is about AI ethics and inclusive AI. So if you again go to Business School of AI, scroll down and you go all the way down, and it says we don't have the machine learning computer vision NLP classes open. That is almost done, so we can take more enrollment there for this semester. The career pivot to AI ethics is a broader topic. In there we have a responsible AI and inclusive AI masterclass. The inclusive AI masterclass is going on already. We had a session with Susanna Raj talking about emotions AI. So if you go here, you can actually get the free copy of the Emotions AI webinar from Susanna. Other than that, you could join that inclusive AI class because they are just getting started to go hands-on and figure out how to build inclusive AI right from a data labeling perspective. So there's a no-code AI data labeling annotation platform, and they're going to do an exercise. So if that's something you want to jump in, that's a class you can do. The exciting thing is there is a whole new masterclass on responsible AI from Renee Cummings that is on October 25th, and that is something that we've not even yet opened up. So this is the first time you're hearing about it. So if you want to just learn responsible AI in 2 hours, I hear from many business people who are working in industry saying, I'm too busy, I want to learn these things. So all you have is 2 hours. Come on the October 25th and learn from Renee Cummings about what is responsible AI and what you can do with it. If you want a hands-on version of what is inclusive AI, how to go about it, get into the nitty-gritties of understanding data bias and mitigation, and go into annotations and labeling, work with the team on a live masterclass. And again, you have 2 hours. You can get in with into the inclusive AI course with Susanna Raj. Or if you say, okay, I'm ready for AI ethics, I want to learn all the foundation, we'll give you can come for either of these classes or both of these classes. Plus you can get all our past recording. At least we will give you a curated version of 6 hours of recording for you to learn AI ethics. So that's the thing on the table. All of them, you start from Business School of AI, you can get there. And if you're not ready for it, so I gave you the urban mobility, the webinar on that. There is a urban development department from MIT, and they have open job positions. Let me go there. This is urban development mobility from MIT, and they have some interesting assistant director positions, assistant professor positions. This one is the one I'm thinking about that is relevant to what we are talking about. Special Program for Urban and Regional Studies is what this SPURS means. And they're looking for mid-career professionals to shape policy in developing countries. And this is fantastic opportunity. So that is something that I would recommend if you're already there, you want in that space, you're interested in it now, that is something you can look at. Or you can look at the Open Mobility Foundation webinar that I just showed you about October 13th one. And then if you're ready for AI ethics and responsible AI, you're welcome to join Renee Cummings' class or Susanna Raj's class. Or Renee Cummings also has a bunch of other activities going on in this space. Let me check that. Let me show that screen. So this is Renee Cummings, and she's talking about race-based data science as a whole lecture series on Wednesdays. And this is something that she has done this week, and she has a whole series coming up. It's datascience.columbia.edu. That is something that I would recommend you look at. And then come for Renee's class. 2 hours is unbelievable, amazing. I'm a big fan of Renee. And then I think there are some other events also happening in the AI for good space. Let me see what I can find for you, so that you have, if you're ready for a class, it's great. If you're not ready for the class, I would suggest at least go to these events, dip your toe, listen to these experts, see what they're saying, and that would be a great start. I mean, I find that it's inspiring for me all the time. There is one event, let me see, there is a AI for good. Let me see where that link is. AI for good. Okay, so this is the organization called AI for Good, and this is the URL. And they have this thing on EU's Artificial Intelligence Act. So there is policy, if you're interested in the policy side of thing, how is AI going to affect your business and life? And they have a webinar. Also, I don't know what's with October 13th, the magical date, but that is the same date where this event. So the urban mobility event also was on from Open Mobility Foundation, was also 13th October. We have a weekly Wednesday on 13th October, which is usually ours is always on Wednesday. That's why it's called weekly Wednesday. And then we have this AI for good keynotes. So this one is also, it's different timing based on your time zone. You can see whether that makes sense for you. There's another AI for good event, which I thought was also interesting, which is related to human-computer interface. It's about towards socially intelligent robots. And that is on October 12th, so it's not on October 13th. So at least that's a different date. So when we were talking about emotions AI and how emotions AI is not quite ready for prime time, what it is built on is not solid cognitive science that Susanna was talking about. You can grab that webinar if you want. You go to Business School of AI and scroll down, click on learning career pivot to AI ethics, and in there you will see the link to sign up and get the AI emotions AI webinar directly. But come and look at this towards socially intelligent robots. It's a discussion, it's a webinar. There's amazing panelists who are all working in this space. And it's very global. I just like the global nature of this conversation because you get multiple perspectives. That's the only way we can build AI, right? And so before I close out, our next weekly Wednesday. So if you go to medium.com, Business School of AI, you can obviously join, follow, and Henry will update you each week with a blog post on the latest in the weekly Wednesday with the recording. So if that's something you miss, you can go there or come for a live discussion and ask your questions. So this month, our weekly Wednesday is about theme is called AIoT, which is artificial intelligence IoT. I have thought this topic as called as cognitive IoT, about how you take IoT data and build AI. There's a whole world of content and learning that's waiting for us in there. So this Wednesday, we have a speaker who works at Aptiv, which is a tier 1 provider, and who's going to talk to us about what is involved in taking sensors, connecting them together, actually in a car to build a self-driving car. What do OEMs do in taking these sensors to build an ADAS system? What is actually involved in making that happen? And this is an engineer. He's going to break it down for us and come talk to us. And so that is going to be our weekly Wednesday. So I hope that is something that you're able to join this weekly Wednesday. And this is our speaker is Baptist Adeline, who will be joining us from Poland, from Aptiv. And so I hope that's exciting for you, because I'm very excited about this topic and I like things that I don't know. And I know autonomous vehicles, how they work, but the nitty-gritties of how the sensor actually connects and how does it come together to make it into an autonomous vehicle compared to a regular car or a hybrid car. How does it happen? So we're going to learn that this weekly Wednesday. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for coming back and asking your questions. Thanks for your question, Dan. And I will see you all next week. So if you're already in any of my classes, maybe my class, the data science one that I was telling you about, where we are doing the no-code AI data science for business users, where we are learning with the mobility bot, that is on my classes on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. or 18-hour Europe or Nigeria, or 1 p.m. in Brazil time. And I'll see you there, or I'll see you at Weekly Wednesday on Wednesday. And have a fabulous weekend. If you're not on any of these online with me, I will see you back next week. And I want feedback from you. So you can find me on LinkedIn or Sudha Jamthe at businessschoolofai.com. And I want to see, is it useful to give all these links? Go back and update them on all. I keep chatting with you guys. And today I did not do enough of the chatting because I was actually talking to you. Is it useful to share those links there? Should I put them together and send you an email? I just want to know what's best, because I want to optimize my time with you, but I want you to get access to all these links so that it's you can go attend these events and then give me feedback when you look at these jobs. If you're looking at an event, go attend them. Tell me how it goes. What do you like? Is it good? So I need the feedback. And if you're looking at any of these jobs and you want feedback on, updating your resume or connecting your dots of your past experience, talk to me. I love that aspect. And I do that with all my students. So if you're watching this and you want that help, ping me, Sudha Jamthe at businessschoolofai.com, or find me on LinkedIn. But give me details of what it is. If you're not already connected with me on LinkedIn, just tell me what this is about. And then I'm here to help. Thank you so much. Stay safe. And I will see you all next week. Bye now. I'm going to stop the recording.